Do you remember those moments when you reach a limit in your project? You know what you want to do. It feels right. But the moment you cross that line, everything turns into chaos. You get lost, and people tell you, be reasonable, think carefully, calculate the risk. And you try, right? You try to reason with yourself. But there's still that quiet voice inside that says, go anyway. I think every social entrepreneur knows that feeling. You want to change the world, but you keep running into very practical challenges, funding, fears, system. And you ask yourself, do I stop here or I keep going? Because if changing the world was easy, it would have been done already, right? So the real question is, how do we move forward when logic says no, but something deeper says yes? My name is Melissa. I'm a founder and director of NK Seeds, a nonprofit that helps improving lives of disadvantaged children in Laos through education, water supplies, and healthcare. And today I would like to share with you how my story began and what I've learned about we can truly rely on when everything around us seems impossible. In 2018, I was on my 20s. I was on a beach in Bali, cocktail in the end, phone in the others. I was scrolling my Facebook feed until one post stopped me. A simple message. Looking for volunteers to teach English in Laos. At that time, I've never heard about Laos, and I didn't ever think about teaching English to kids. But I don't know, it just felt like an evidence. So I clicked on the post. I contacted Sabu, the mind behind it. I took the first plane, boat, tuk-tuk, minivan, whatever, to get to that small village in the middle of the jungle. And when I got there, I completely fall in love with, not the man, but with the village. The people, the culture, the smile of the kids. When I got there, I met Sabu. This guy was teaching English to the kids in this small wooden house. Kids were having heavy past, some were abandoned, some were orphaned. And I remember on the ground there were a small whiteboard and a few books. And this man was more than teaching them English. He was giving them hope, he was giving them a family, and he was giving them a future. Because at that time the region was becoming touristic and the language meant opportunity. This meeting completely changed everything inside me. At first, I didn't understand why I came to Laos. But I knew with an absolute clarity that I couldn't live. So I stayed. I stayed to help him build a real English school for the kids and the surrounding. At first, everything felt all right, until the voice of the reason showed up. Not one voice, but many. Family, friends, old colleagues, they were all saying the same thing. What are you doing? You're too young, be careful, you don't speak the language, you don't know anything about schools. And they were right. Logically, everything pointed to no. But something inside me, deeper than logic and older than fear, whispered yes. It wasn't courage, it wasn't madness, it was hard knowledge. And this is where my story of transgression begins. We live in two different forms of knowing. The first one, I call it the inner bureaucrat. It loves rules, approvals, guarantee, plans. It says things like, be reasonable, wait for the right time, don't risk it. And honestly, it's not a bad thing. The inner bureaucrat keeps us safe. It makes sure the bills are paid and the plane lands on time, right? But here is the problem. When you're trying to make a real change, when you're stepping into the unknown to be served by something new, the inner bureaucrat becomes a bit of a control freak. Because in the world of change making, logic will almost always discourage you. If you ask it, should I start a school with no money, no experience, and no permission? It will say, of course not. But I think this is how most of projects begin, right? That's something that doesn't make sense on paper, but that makes perfectly sense in the art. And this is where the second form of knowing comes in, what I call the heart knowledge. It's the knowing that lives in the body, the signal, the gut feeling, the quiet voice inside that says, it might not make sense, but it feels right. To understand this, I've been looking for answers, and I found something very fascinating in neuroscience. In 1997, a scientist named Antonio Damasio made an experiment. People were playing a card game. Some decks were good, some decks were bad, but before they could know which one were risky, their body already knew. Their hands started to sweat, their heart beat faster, they started avoiding danger even before they understood why. Damasio called this the somatic marker. It's the body's way of saying something is off. Before the mind knows, the body feels. After this experiment, Damasio kept asking himself, what happens if the body cannot send those signals? So he turned to patients who had damage to the frontal lobe. It's the part of the brain that connects emotion and reason. And the most famous case was Phineas Cage, a railway worker that got hit by an iron bar through his skull. He survived, but his personality completely changed. He became impulsive, unable to judge risk or control emotion. The part of his brain connecting emotion and reason was gone, and so his ability to make decisions. Damasio's insight was revolutionary. Emotion isn't the opposite of reason. It's what makes reason works. So maybe intuition isn't mysterious after all. It's just a biology. This discovery changed the way I understood decision making, especially in the world of change making, because I think every social entrepreneur face what I call the go or no-go moment. For example, when NASA launched prepare a rocket launch, all the data has been calculated, right? And the engineers say, do we launch or not? The formula has to be complete. You cannot press go with half the information. But when you're trying to solve a human problem, the data is never complete, and you will never have enough information. So maybe in change making, there is not perfect moment of clarity. Let me tell you another story. Every 3 months, I had to leave Laos to renew my tourist visa. So basically, you just go to a country beside, like Thailand, you pay, you stamp, and then you can come back and stay for another 3 months in the country. So I've been doing this for a couple of months, until one day, the Lao authorities stopped me and say, Miss, you can come back. I had no authorization to run the school, no legal status, no work visa, of course, and no money. My inner bureaucrat was furious. Rules are rules. Go home. But my heart refused. Everything inside me felt like, you're in place here with the kids. Keep going. And suddenly I thought about something. I'm French and Swiss, and every time I travel, I carry my 2 passports with me, just in case I lose one or something happened like this day. So I started to see things differently. Not through panic, but through clarity. What if I just use my other passport, my Swiss passport, to get back to Laos? New passport, new identity, but same purpose. Because intuition doesn't mean jumping blindly. It means reading more data. Because when you rely only on reason, it's like having access to 10 data points out of 100. You compare, you calculate, you plan. But when you open to intuition, or what I said, heart knowledge, you suddenly have access to all 100. Fear contracts, but intuitions expands. The tension in your gut, the calm in your chest, the warmth is in your hands, all of this is data. At that moment, I wasn't being impulsive, I was being informed. Because the body doesn't tell us only where to go, It tells us what and who to trust. This is how I knew I had to return to Laos. And guess what? A few weeks later, I got the authorization I needed for the school, and a visa solution followed. So now the real question is, am I truly listening, or I'm letting my inner bureaucrat overrule the vote? So how do we listen better? How do we reach real clarity, that moment every changemaker faces the go or no-go decision? Here is how I learned to do it. First, reduce the noise, not only around you, but inside you. Reason can be noise too. Second, identify the feeling. The body knows before your mind translates. Third, trust the signal. Don't wait for the perfect proof. And 4, experiment. Take one small step and see how it feels. So, do you remember those moments when you reach a limit in your project? Take a breath. Try to listen to your heart knowledge. And remember, the world moves when you move from the right place. Thank you.